If you are willing to learn medical coding concepts and advance your career to the next level, you're at the right place. Hello, and welcome to Learn Right. I'm Vinay Kumar. I'm a trainer with almost 2 decades of experience in the US healthcare industry. I have helped more than 1,000 coding professionals to learn and get certified in medical coding. Hello, guys. Today, our topic is CEUs for the CCS certification from AHIMA. So, let's understand how to obtain the CEUs and complete our recertification process. First things first. So you need to understand that AHIMA accepts all AAPC CEUs that are obtained through attending live webinars. For the most part, all live webinars which are organized by AAPC and AAPC related vendors are approved or accepted by AHIMA for CEU submission. But remember, you will have to maintain the registration information and maintain the certificate that is provided by the organizing body. This is the key factor. And on the other hand, AAPC does not accept AHIMA CEUs. This is another thing that you might need to consider if you have a CPC certification from AAPC. And specifically for AHIMA CEUs, if it is identified by AHIMA that the CEUs are exclusively for AHIMA certifications, specifically CCS, then it will be marked as such that this is approved by AHIMA for CEUs. But then it's not a hard and fast rule. AHIMA accepts AAPC webinars and live events which are attended by CCS certified professionals for reporting. Let's talk more about it and understand how it works. The first thing, you need to understand why we are supposed to submit the CEUs, whether it is for the AAPC exam or for the AHIMA examination. We are talking about CCS, so let's stick to it. So the CCUs, now HIIM, Health Informatics and Information Management, is an evolving field, whether you call it a medical coder, whether it's a medical biller or an AR caller or anyone related directly to this particular industry is supposed to constantly learn the new technologies, new practices and new rules and regulations that come up every now and then. As a coder, most of you know, there are updates in October and January every year, whether it's for the CPT or for the ICD-10 CM, right? You need to be up to date with all those new coding systems or coding rules or guidelines that come up every year. So AHIMA wants to make sure that all the coding professionals who are certified are upgrading themselves, learning the new concepts and new things and applying them as part of their day-to-day work process. Okay, so this is the reason they ask you to prove that you are up to date with all the current information, and that is the reason the concept of CEUs has evolved, continuing education units. So you need to earn them within a 2-year time frame from the date of your certification and submit them through your AHIMA portal login for the CCS credential. This is an activity that is ongoing as long as you are a coder. Now let's look at what other things are involved and how we think about this process. So AHIMA says, to complete your recertification process, you need to participate in all sorts of accepted and qualified CEU activities. You need to obtain the required number of CEUs during your recertification cycle. For the CCS examination or certification, it is 20 CEUs. And you need to report all the CEUs by the due date. It's like the 2-year cycle starts when you complete your examination, you pass your examination, get your credential. So every 2 years you are supposed to complete all the CEUs. You need to also document, retain and file your CEU activity in case there is an audit on your ID, which is not so frequent or usual, but then in case there is an audit request, you need to be ready with your documents. So the basic point is you need to register for every event that you attend and obtain your CEUs. That's the key factor. And of course you need to pay your recertification fees by the due date. Now each individual has a different due date and a different cycle date. You need to log into your AHIMA and then check the dates in the CEU center. That will tell you what is the due date for your recertification cycle. Now you need to understand what qualifies for the CEUs, what type of activities are approved, and how are the CEUs basically calculated. For the approved activities, AHIMA expects you to participate in educational portions of AHIMA meetings or programs which are sponsored by other organizations or vendors which are involved in upgrading, updating and enhancing the knowledge related to the HIM profession. When I say other organizations, AAPC is also part of it, and other teleseminars and telecommunications which are relevant to the HIM profession, and any other allied health and relevant professional associations. Now this is just an overview of what sort of activities are approved, but let's understand in detail exactly what they are talking about. So first, about the calculations. Now usually if you have attended a webinar, they give you a participation certificate. That participation certificate will have the number of CEUs approved for that particular webinar or activity. That's how you generally know whether it qualifies for 1 CEU, 2 CEUs or 3 CEUs, right? Now sometimes the number of CEUs may not be written on the participation certificate. In those cases, this is the table that will explain how many CEUs that event or webinar or activity qualifies for. And moreover, you are supposed to submit 20 CEUs within the 2-year time frame for your CCS credential, right? Out of these 20 CEUs, you are supposed to earn 80% of them from the relevant HIM domains, which we will talk about in a while. And the rest 20% can be any other topics other than the HIM domains, which means the major part should be from the HIM domains. Now, for the calculation purposes, 30 to 44 minutes will be accepted for 0.5 CEU credits, and less than 30 minutes of course will not be accepted. And you see the table here already. The amount of time the webinar goes on, the number of CEUs you get. So for you to qualify for that event to qualify for 1 CEU at least, it should be anywhere between 45 minutes to 89 minutes and so on. You understand the table better now, right? So this is how the CEUs are calculated in case the number of CEUs are not written down on the participation certificate. Now that's about the calculations. Let's also understand how the CEU center works. I'll tell you briefly what is there in the CEU center and how you need to enter your CEUs and other things. First of all, if you look at the screen, there is a video tutorial from AHIMA itself which will teach you how you enter the CEUs in the CEU center of your AHIMA login. So just go through that video. It will help you understand the entire process. We are not talking about the process here, but instead certain other things which many of us always have a question. So if you look at the CEU center, if you hover your mouse over this area, it will show you all the details of how many CEUs you have acquired and how many are pending. Right now this particular ID, it doesn't have any CEUs that have been reported. So all 20 are required and the percentages are also 0 here, right? So as you keep adding the CEUs, the screen will start changing the numbers and tell you clearly how many CEUs are exactly required. Now let's move on to the next aspect. The sources for the CEUs. Most of you who are CCS credentialed already know what this screen means. When you are trying to enter your CEUs, in your CEU center in AHIMA, it will ask you the source through which the CEU was earned, or the activity from where you got your CEU certificate from. So you need to select that particular activity and then submit your CEUs. Now if it is an AHIMA activity, you obviously have the first option, AHIMA activity, right? But most of the other activities are either external or the CLA and CSA related content. Now if you are picking up CEU webinars which are related to AAPC, then you might have to select external as the source of the CEU and then submit your CEU certificate through that mode. That's one thing. Okay, now talking about the sources again, other than AHIMA, you can obtain CEUs through the CMS Medicare Learning Network, and there are many organizations which conduct events and webinars every now and then give you CEU credits. I'll show you all those now. Okay, first let's understand how we can earn the CEUs for free for the CCS credentials. Trust me guys, over the last 6 to 7 years, I have never paid for the CEUs. I have always attended some or the other event, learned something out of it, and then I have earned all my CEUs, which was the easiest way if you ask me, because I don't have to rush through for getting all the CEUs at the end of my CEU cycle. I have seen many coders who do not complete their CEU activities prior hand, and then in the last 1 or 2 months they start searching for the CEUs, which if you ask me is not the right way to do it. Okay, so let's understand. Now the first question that comes to our mind is, can we use the CEUs earned through AHIMA through organizations other than AHIMA? AHIMA obviously is approved because it's their own certification, right? But the CCHIM, the Commission on Certification of Health Informatics and Information Management, has clearly stated that it accepts CEUs earned through other organizations provided they qualify as valid CE activities and are relevant to HIIM. Obviously, all AAPC webinars are relevant to the HIIM industry itself, right? Now, coming back to the sources. So, let's understand AHIMA first. As you all know, AHIMA conducts annual meetings, different kinds of webinars, and recorded audio sessions, and it also has many courses embedded inside its store. So you can go to ahimastore.org to find all these resources, which will give you CEUs for sure, but then majority of them are paid CEUs, right? Until unless you are not finding the CEUs anywhere else, you may not want to buy them. That's how many of us are, right? We want to get the CEUs for free by attending webinars or other stuff. So let's also understand the other things. So this is primarily AHIMA. You can always go to AHIMA store and then obtain your CEUs from there. Now what about the others? Okay, CMS next, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. AHIMA credential holders may claim 1 CEU per 60 minutes of attendance at an educational program conducted by the CMS. CMS itself has a portal which is called as the Medicare Learning Network. You have to create your own ID in the MLN and then attend different kinds of activities to obtain your CEUs. You always have to maintain documentation about what kind of activities and programs you are attending and claiming your CEUs. Without documentation, if there is an audit, then those CEUs will not be accepted as valid. So always maintain the documentation. Now, for CMS activities, it does not need to be pre-approved by AHIMA. That's what CMS clearly states. Nor does a CEU certificate need to be provided in order to claim AHIMA CEU credit. It has to be a valid program through CMS for which you must have registered and then completed the event. Every CMS activity will have a post quiz. You need to complete the quiz with a minimum of 80% score. Then you'll be provided a participation certificate or a certificate of completion, which you can submit for your CEU credit. This is from the CMS itself. Now, what is approved or what you can use from the CMS for getting your credits is primarily focus on calls and webcasts. I have provided all the links in the video itself. You can browse through those links and then go to those websites and browse through so that you get the information about where you can register and how you can register for all these activities. I have given the link in this on the screen right now as well. The MLN events from the Bizzle group. Right now these are the people who are conducting all the calls and webcasts and the web-based training related to CMS. So you can go to this link or this website and then register yourself for all the activity that is listed there. They give you a list, the date, the time and the list. You can attend those events and get your credits. This is from CMS. Now, external sources. This is the third part of how we obtain the CEUs. So, events presented by various organizations throughout the year. There are many organizations which conduct events or webinars for the most part every now and then. I have seen certain organizations conduct a webinar at least once or twice a month. So, if I have 4 or 5 organizations, if I know 4 or 5 organizations like that, and everyone conducts at least one webinar in a month, okay, for me to finish my 20 CEUs, it hardly takes 4 months. And I'm not talking about the entire 4 months. You need not sit for the entire 4 months, right? You just have to spend 1 hour per week. Okay, so you need to know which organizations provide CEUs and how do you obtain those CEUs is the next thing that we need to understand. So again, remember, you always have to register and then complete the event. Without registration, even if you complete the event or you attend the webinar, it's not going to serve the purpose. You cannot claim the credit because you do not have a proof that you have attended. So always register with your email ID. And remember, use the same email ID that is connected to your AHIMA login. Do not try to use any other email ID because this is the best way that you can prove that this is your email ID and this is where you have registered for your AHIMA. And almost every webinar will give you a certificate of attendance. Even some organizations even give you recorded versions, which means even if the webinar has completed, the live event is completed, that webinar will be qualified for CEU certificate even after the completion date. So you can go back, register for it, listen to the entire webinar and then complete the certificate. You can obtain those as well. Okay, let's learn more about these external sources. I have listed out only a few organizations which have been consistently providing educational content. Okay, primarily TrueCode, then Vitalware, Imagine Solutions, MRO Corp and Coro Health. I have seen MRO Corp and Coro Health very recently for the CEU activities, but these are 5 organizations which have been consistently providing free CEUs for people who attend their webinars and events. Okay, I'll provide all the links for these websites where the CEUs are listed, and the information will be right there in that website, how to register and complete the CEUs from there. Now this is an example, okay, just a brief example of how you can register and get your CEUs. This is from TrueCode. So you go to the link that is provided here, right? And then you have to sign up to receive their notifications. Now every vendor who is providing free CEUs or CEU events, webinars, they ask you to sign up and register so that in case there is a new event that is happening and if there are CEU credits or some other information, you will be notified prior hand. You can simply register then and there once you receive an email from them and then attend the event so that you get your CEUs. Now for TrueCode, if you go to this link, there is a column called webinars. If you click on the webinars, it will ask you to sign up to receive notifications. Do that first. Okay, and below that you see this CPT Spinal Fusion, which is on June 22. You can register for this. You'll get a free CEU by attending this. Similarly, this is the sign up page which you will get. So first what would happen is, once you click on the sign up to receive notifications, it will give you this particular page where you fill up all your complete name along with your email ID, your organization name and your role, whether it's a medical coder or a senior coder, whatever title you carry, enter those details and complete your registration. Now this same TrueCode has old webinars or webinars on demand. You might want to click on those and check out which webinars are available for CEUs. There are many actually. So you might want to go to that website and browse through. So that was TrueCode as an example. Guys, again I am saying the same thing. I will provide you all the links which are currently relevant and which are providing CEUs. You might want to go through all those websites, browse through them and get your CEUs done. I'll keep updating these links as and when I come across new CEU opportunities. So you'll have to register through each of these websites or organizations and obtain your CEUs. These are the external sources for the most part which provide free CEUs. Okay, so we have been talking about the three different sources for CEUs, primarily AHIMA, but which are for the most part paid. Then we were talking about CMS, where you might have to create your own login, register for the events and then complete the events. And then the external sources, where you again have to register yourself for the upcoming webinars or existing webinars, complete a certain activity and obtain your CEUs. Trust me, I am sure you'll get many of your CEUs done through these websites because I've been doing this for a very long time. Now, we have obtained CEUs, right? Many of us also have another question. Okay, what does my CEU qualify for, or which domain do I submit that CEU? Because you see this, there are clinical foundations, data structure, content and information governance, evolving topics, health law and compliance. So there are different domains listed when you are submitting your CEUs, right? So when you come to this window in your CEU center, first give the activity name, whatever name has been presented to you from that webinar. Then select the education type. The date granted would be the date you registered for the event or the date of the actual event. And then you need to enter your CEUs, how many CEUs have been given to you during that event. Okay, now talking about the HIM domain. So let's make it clear or easy to understand what falls into which domain. So I'll list out all the domains in an order where most of them are, the first ones are always relevant to us, like clinical foundations. If you are selecting clinical foundations, you are selecting topics related to medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology, pharmacology, diagnostic and laboratory testing, ancillary services, telemedicine, medical and surgical procedures. So if you look at it carefully, all anatomy, terminology, pathophysiology, which is the basic thing that all coders know. All these kinds of activities or content related to these kinds of topics fall into the clinical foundations. You can select clinical foundations as the domain and submit your CEUs. The next one is data structure, content and information governance. If you look at it carefully, the first three will tell you what exactly it is. Coding, right? So content related to ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, CPT and HCPCS, all these fall into this particular domain, data structure, content and information governance. I have also listed the other categories which fall into the same domain as such. So remember these two, the first domain and second domain, clinical foundations and data structure. These two are the primary places where most of the webinars will fit into if you are a CCS credentialed professional, because we are all coders for the most part, right? All coding stuff falls into these domains. Let's also briefly look at the other domains. There are relevant domains like the third one. Okay, now if you have an activity or a webinar which you are not clear whether it fits into the first two domains, then you might want to put it in the third domain or this particular domain, revenue cycle management. Remember guys, medical coding also falls into the same revenue cycle management. So whether it is billing, coding or AR, all these things fall into the same revenue cycle management. Everything is part of this, right? So if something does not fit directly into the coding or the clinical concepts, you may want to fit it into the revenue cycle management based on the relevance. So payment methodologies and systems, billing scrubbers, Medicare code editors, and NCCI edits, National Correct Coding Initiatives. NCCI edits is something which all coders know. And hospital acquired conditions and present on admission indicators, appeals and denials management. All these are something which fall into the revenue cycle management domain. The next one is information protection. Okay, as coders, billers and AR callers, this entire industry knows what PHI means, right? And we all know what HIPAA means. So all HIPAA related activities or HIPAA regulations, security and privacy risk assessments, all these aspects fall into this particular domain. Anything related to those have to be reported here. Now the other domains, we may not be getting many activities from these domains, but these are also very relevant, and if you see any activity fits into these, you can report here. The next one is informatics, analytics and data use. Content related to data quality assessment, statistical analysis and reports. Healthcare data reporting. The next one is health law and compliance. All regulations related to coding, documentation, billing and data reporting and patient safety are all reported on health law and compliance. So this is the domain where you report the regulatory aspects. And organizational management and leadership. This is practice related ethical issues, performance improvement models and training and development activities. All these things fall into this particular domain. But remember guys, the first three are the most important domains where most of the activity will fall into. The last one is evolving topics or other HIM related or relevant topics. You see, HCC coding is something which many of us know, right? Hierarchical conditional category. That content related to HCC all falls into the evolving topics or other HIM relevant topics. And there are other risk adjustment factors, pay for performances and computer assisted technology. We also know what CAC or CAC is, computer assisted coding. Even that falls into the evolving topics. So that was about the domains. Okay, so overall what we were looking at is what set of activities approved for CEU submission, who are the vendors or players who can provide us the CEU certificate related activities, and then how to report under each domain. This is what we were talking about, and how to do the calculations based on the amount of time spent for the CEU activity. Last but not the least, and the most important one, guys, remember, you always have to maintain the registration information or the CEU certificate that you have received and upload it to your AHIMA portal. If it's a registration related information, you obviously have an email with you. But if you have a certificate which you have obtained after completing the webinar, upload it to your CEU center along with the CEU submission so that it will stay there. You don't have to show it again, right? But then remember, there are random audits that do happen on all credentials related to AHIMA. So they may ask you for submission of proofs. In that case, if it's a certificate you have to submit the certificate, or you can show the relevant registration email for that particular activity or webinar or CEU activity to show that you have obtained all the CEUs properly. Okay, now Sometimes if some CEUs are not acceptable or applicable, which is a very rare case, they give you some additional time to replace those CEUs with whatever is not approved. Now let's say if out of 20, 18 are approved and 2 are not approved, those 2 would be excluded from your CEU cycle, and you will be sent an email stating you might need to report the other 2 CEUs within this time frame. They will give you at least a minimum of 25 to 30 days for sure. But you will have to check your emails frequently and then complete your audit requests. This is in case you receive an audit request. Otherwise, for the most part, if the CEUs are approved by AHIMA or if the CEUs are accepted, you will see them directly in your AHIMA CEU center. And the numbers would also keep changing as you keep adding your CEUs. Right? So that's about the audits. Okay, I have listed all the resources here, and as I said, I list out all the links in the description of the video so that you can browse through those websites and register yourself to complete your CE activities. In the next video, I'll show you a step-by-step process on how to register and complete the CEU submission. I will include at least 2 of the external sources as an example with the complete process. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel and allow notifications so that you'll be notified when the next video is presented.